Good evening. Welcome to the ZebraNet. This is Justin Zinda. Last week there were presidential elections in Uganda. Today we are going to be asking our guest, Mr. Richard Samitego, about what actually happened and what to expect in the near future. Mr. Richard Samitego, thank you for accepting to give us the interview.
Thank you very much for hosting me again.
Now that Museveni has been re-elected, what is the position of the opposition leaders right now in Uganda?
The position for opposition leaders and peace-loving people in Uganda is very volatile. Ugandans are being intimidated. Nobody is safe. For example, Dr. Kizza Besigye is in and out of prison. At the moment, he's under house arrest. General David Tinyefunza is in prison. Actually, before elections until today, is in prison. A lot of young people who are in opposition, they are being intimidated, tortured, and some of them have been killed.
President Museveni has alleged that the opposition leaders were inciting violence. He actually went on to say that they were asking the masses to go and attack petrol stations. Is he correct in saying that?
At the moment, President Museveni is the most scared and lonely person in the world, even scared of his own shadow. That's why he's resorting to torture, intimidation, and deployment of forces to protect himself. No credible opposition leader in Uganda can advocate or suggest for anybody to go out and attack petrol station or cause violence in Uganda. No one can do that. What opposition leader did is to encourage people to go out and vote, and people, they went out and voted for leaders of their choice. At the moment, nobody has been presented to court of law to say that this was caught causing violence or inciting people to go out and cause chaos in Uganda.
Mr. Museveni also alleged that the opposition were planning to declare their own results of the election. Were the opposition leaders planning to declare their own result of the elections?
Opposition leaders in Uganda and pro-democracy activists, what they are calling for election commission to come out clearly and publish all the election results so that the world can know how voting went in Uganda.
Mr. Samitego, Mr. Museveni has characterized the opposition as not civil. He went as far as saying the opposition in Uganda is an endangered species. What do you say about that?
Oh, that is rich of Mr. Museveni saying that opposition leaders and opposition activists are not civil. Let us talk about people who are in prison, like Dr. Kizza Besigye, who is always in and out of prison, who is under house arrest. Let's talk about General David Tinyefunza, who fought with him in the war, now is in prison. Let us talk about young people who are suffering and rotting in prisons of Uganda, who have no guns, who have nothing. And yet Mr. Museveni is talking about being civil.
Mr. Museveni said he did not believe in term limit.
President Museveni, when he came to power in 1986, in his own statement, he said, the problem of Africa in general, Uganda in particular, is not the people, but the leaders who overstay in power.
Yeah, Museveni said that Africa's got more serious concern: poverty, unemployment, development of infrastructure. Don't you accept that?
Everything you mentioned comes down to leadership. If you have good governance, development will take place, employment will be created for young people, everything will run smoothly. But once you have bad leadership, that's when you have corruption, that's when you have people who want to overstay in power, like Uganda is going through at the moment. All that is down to bad leadership.
What are the EU observers saying about the way the elections were conducted?
Ugandans are very happy with the international observers who came to observe elections in Uganda. And the report came out very clearly. They raised concerns that elections were not free and fair. There was a lot of irregularities, no transparency. Those were very clear. And as far as irregularities are concerned, polling stations were supposed to open 7 to 4 o'clock. But some polling stations in opposition stronghold areas did not open until 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mr. Samitego, after what happened last week in Uganda, when the whole international community knows that the election was not free and fair, why the silence from world leaders? I'm referring here to President Barack Obama and the Prime Minister David Cameron. Did they come out and say something about what happened in Uganda last week?
Well, President Obama and Prime Minister of UK, David Cameron, they haven't come out openly, but through their aide, yes, they expressed their opinions.
Is it correct for me to say that their silence could be construed as conceding to what Museveni has done?
Well, for the position of UK, I know where UK government stands on Museveni, and I can assure Ugandans that UK government will stand always with Ugandans who are fighting for good governance. But about Obama, we are still waiting for his statement.
Okay, but it's not up to you to say that you know the position of the UK government. It's up to the UK government to come out, especially at this important period, important time for the Ugandan people, to come and say if they support or they condemn the actions by Museveni.
UK High Commission to Uganda released a statement alongside EU ambassadors in Uganda. So UK government is very clear about
what did they say, Mr.
the last concluded
What did they say?
They condemned the elections and they termed it as sham.
Mr. Samtego, thank you very much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. Thank you.